You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
It can't just be like random chance that like every dude that's 220 with black hair and a beard acts the same. You know what I mean? It's gotta be environmentally.
It's not all the time, but I'd say about 90% of the time.
Yes.
Bill, can you scoot in just a little bit?
Absolutely.
A little tiny bit. That is perfect. Alrighty, I believe we are live. Hey, Joe Falchow, he's the first person watching. Steve, you're fine with your phone. Everybody gets to see a little bit of the process before we get started.
Trust the process.
Trust the process. Isn't that, what player is that, Joel Embiid?
That's the Philadelphia 76ers embodiment. He started the process there, yeah.
The process. Trust the process and it all will be fine.
Wait, this is a rough take?
No, this is a live video right there that you're seeing.
Oh, shit.
Right now I am arming our track. Everybody who is watching real quick, we're about to get started. I am just arming our audio track and we are about to start audio recording. So everybody, welcome to the... It's about to go down. Burn the world down, Bill. That is where you are, that is where we are, that is what you are watching. My name is Josh.
Steve.
I'm Wolf.
Matt.
And that's Matt. Everybody, we have two guests with us today. We have the illustrious Matt Hadden and the absolutely magnificent Wolf Reddington, all the way from the universe. He actually doesn't have parents. He was born in a pit of hellfire and brimstone, directly coughed from a dragon's lung, and then he was baked in a pile of alcoholic fetuses until he was finally formed by Jesus's right-hand man, Beelzebuz. And here he is, direct from the gutter of insanity, from the world-traveling, all-inspiring, super awesome, very, very friendly, just a good person, Wolf Reddington. He is the man. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
Everybody,
Nothing I'd rather do.
honestly, I'm really happy. We go back to working at Shop and Save together days. We used to play a game where I would try to hide things in the back of the warehouse, and Wolf would be like, "I can go get that," and I'm like, "No, you can't." And he's like, "Put it anywhere." And then I would like put things in the rafters, and he would find a way to climb up. And just like, always super talented, always very skilled. So I'm excited to have you
That's
here.
a lot to live up to right there. That was like, that's massive introduction.
Nothing's too big.
Welcome to challenge.
Yeah, see,
Wolf Reddington is a challenge seeker, I believe. So we're going to get into that. First, as always, we are at the Not So Black podcast, and we are going to get right into it. We're going to start with some comedy news, and it's going to be a short little news segment just because we have some serious in-depth conversation to get into. The only really news thing that I wanted to talk about, because I thought it was funny from the entertainment world, is the Netflix executive who was fired for... exactly, and then I said those words. Should I lose my job for that?
Is that the context of it there? Was he saying like, we can't say this, or was he just like derogatorily like spitting it out there? You know what I mean?
It says that...
even if
Slang.
people say it, it's not so demeaning to me. It's like when it's directed at somebody for just the color of their skin.
Yeah, it has to have something to do with intent. I think words plus intent equals offense. You know, are you allowed to get offended at the intent or just the word? It is what it breaks down to. Let's see if I mess up the sound as I always do. Sure did. Yep, always overlapping sounds because I am an idiot. This is what happens, everybody. I try to load up the video so we can keep up with your comments, and the sound just automatically shows up. So let me just shut that down real quick. We are good. Owen Weaver supporting my fellow cook. Hey, Owen. Owen, everybody. Owen is a kid that I work with at the Country Grove, the restaurant that I work at. Mike Giovanoli, what's up? Josh, what's up? Mike, thank you so much. Nicholas Nolf, thank you so much. Mike, thanks Owen. Thanks Dusty. You guys are the first people First 4 people on our live here. We are sideways,
Fuck yeah.
as you can see. So this will
America.
be a sideways podcast today. Hey, Steve,
Like
you
Paul
want
Paul,
to?
sitting sideways.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Leave it the way it is. Who
I'm good
cares?
with that.
You know, we
Let's
look.
switch it sideways.
You know, switch it.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Go ahead and switch that around, will you? Just all you have to do is grab it by that handle and tilt it up. Grab it by that handle thing. No, grab it by the handle down there on the bottom, and it'll spin around. A little spinneroonie, and just make sure that we can still see everybody. If not, we will switch it back. I think you can still see.
I cannot tell.
You can't. You're not gonna be able to tell until it switches on here. But either way, there we go, Steve. It was Steve's decision, so if it goes poorly and we switch it back, that is all on Steve.
Scapegoat.
Yeah, he was the one who wanted to switch it around, and oh, here we go. We're about to watch it. We're watching it happen. You guys watched it happen first. We're watching it happen second. And yep, he cut Bill right out of the video.
Oh,
So
You're a real peach.
Sorry,
Wolf. You're a
he
real
cut-
peach.
cut Wolf right out of the video. Hey Chad, hey Vanessa. Yeah, we're sideways today.
Man,
Sorry everybody.
sitting sideways?
It's fine, Steve. It'll go away. Everybody's side. Yeah, you're in
On the
sideways. No, you're fine. You're
Wouldn't
in.
miss it for the world.
You're in sideways. It's good. Yeah. So here we are. Not so black podcast. For next thing in the news, we're going to talk about a couple things before we get into some serious discussions. But I'm sure everybody saw this, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. Space Force. So I'm going to say those 2 words, Space Force. President Trump has decided that he wants to launch the Space Force, soldiers in space.
See, I'm like, this isn't the 1960s anymore, so I feel like, I don't know, I just don't care about it that much. Like, what are you gonna do, man? It's not like possible yet to send a guy to Mars. It's too far away. Like, what? I didn't read into it because I'm just not interested. I don't know what the point is.
Wolf,
I am a fan.
You're a fan?
I want to go into space. I want to be a part of space because I think the people fuck this world up. So I think space is the future.
The new
Why
frontier.
wait? Why wait till tomorrow for what you can do today?
I had
Let's
a
go.
feeling. I had a feeling you would be into it because, like,
Absolutely.
you're into taming wilderness and
Absolutely.
untamed places. Like you're into going to those areas.
I'll go to Pluto right
Yeah.
now.
So like to me, I think it makes sense because it's not going to happen in our lifetimes. It's not going to happen for another 100 years probably when we do have to leave the planet. But it's going to happen eventually because I believe that as a species we are interplanetary.
But you know who Neil Armstrong is, right?
Yeah, he was the guy who invented Tang.
Well, everyone's going to know what Reddington is.
Yeah,
And I crash land on Mars and take over the planet.
Here's some. We're going to get into that too about how everybody and nobody knows who Wolf Reddington is, and it pisses me off because there was a guy I saw this last summer. There was this black kid from close to Clarion. He walked to Florida, and they made this huge spectacle about it, right? And I just thought it was like, why are you doing it? You're doing this for the likes, for the gram. You're flexing for the gram. And they made this guy into a hero when Wolf here, not minutes after graduating, I don't even know how long it was because you were pretty secretive about it, to be honest.
Like literal minutes?
No
Or
idea
like,
where he even went.
I certainly wasn't doing it for the likes.
No. How long did you wait before you left? Like, how long did it take you to plan the trip and execute?
Well, I totaled my car, albeit it was a unfortunate circumstances of events, and the car was totaled. Didn't have anything to do with
Drinking, so you were sober and you
But-
got your car.
the car was totaled, and then the house got sold, and then I lit out, and I made it.
So it was like a series of events that led to you to say, you know what, I don't need this, I'm out. Like you wanted to start over? Is that what you were looking for?
I
Was
just
like a
felt
fresh-
like there was more. I felt like every day was over before it began.
Right. Okay. That
I
makes
saw
sense.
it all. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go to school today, and then when I get
Yeah.
out of school,
When you
I'm
go to
gonna go to work, and then when I get off of work, I'm gonna work on my house,
You
and then
need
I'm gonna
something
go to
new.
sleep,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna do it all
'Cause
again.
I
and
remember-
again and again.
I remember you had the property. What did you used to call it?
The complex.
The complex. Hey, you had the complex. I remember you being rather upset, I'd say, when you found out it was being sold, right?
No, was a big fan because I needed to finance my journeys.
Really? Is that how it happened?
That's how it went.
That's right. You bought that place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I forgot about that. There's so on the corner of 7th and Liberty, right? 6th. 5th. There's that red building on the right-hand side if you're driving down.
Exactly.
There's this red building. He called it the Complex, and I was only inside of it once. But from what I remember, it was just this building, and it was what was the? It was the top floor, right? That you were like
that was my
building
hangout.
it.
That was my hangout.
And it was sweet. And I just remember being amazed that you had like bought this building, and like I didn't know what you were gonna do with it.
But
so that's
I got shunned for it, man. Oh, he's weird. You know what I mean? Like he's got a house.
I
I
thought
know
it
what's
was
up
cool.
with houses. I live with my parents. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like before
so
people came around.
You weren't even out of high school. We weren't even out of high school when you got it.
Nah,
you got it dirt cheap, right?
17 when I got it.
How much did that cost you?
It was 12,000.
12,000. That's crazy.
And I had 8,000.
Yeah.
Saved up.
So how much did you end up selling it for?
It was 20 grand. So
And
I
that's-
didn't make any money in the end because all the money I put into it, but I didn't lose none either.
So you took $20,000 and your life, basically, whatever knowledge you had.
Yeah.
How
I
much
learned
did
a
you?
couple things.
How much did you know about survival at that point?
Nothing.
And when you, now when you first left,
Yeah.
how long were you scared for? Like, what was how long was it scary?
And I wasn't scared, dude. Like, that would not be the right word.
Uncertainty.
Or, like, I guess uncertain, like those nights in the woods.
Uncertainty, yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good word.
How long did that,
I
how
didn't
long
know.
were you
How
uncertain
would
for?
I know?
Like, when did you
A
finally
little kid going out into leaving the small town to
'Cause
the
I don't-
big world.
I don't mean to be
yeah.
offensive, but you literally were the rosy-cheeked, skinny kid from Franklin.
Yeah.
You know, and like it was,
Fair enough.
and it's amazing that you like. It was just such a cool. That's why I've always respected it and admired it because it was super cool. It was ballsy, and like I guess my question is like, how long did the uncertainty last? When were you comfortable finally waking up and not knowing which direction you were going?
It's an adaptation period, man. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. That's like what you got.
Dude, you're like
It's
spitting
the
out
real
inspirational
world.
person.
Yeah,
It's
so
the
like-
real world.
How long did that take? Like, what was that period like?
So I left hypothetically with 60 pounds of shit, like jeans. I got a couple
Remember-
pounds of
Shut
jeans.
up.
I got pot sets. I got knives. I'm like fucking ready. Fuck you. And then all of a sudden, oh well, I got to carry all this stuff, so I had to lighten out. And probably about a month later, I had it down to more or less a science,
Nice.
where it was a lightweight kind of thing, and that's kind of the rule of thumb out yonder per se. If you're going to go out and do such a thing, you know, you carry what you're going to use every day or two.
Yeah.
If you ain't going to use it tomorrow, then get rid of it.
Right.
You
That
don't
makes sense.
need a podcast because really, if you're really like up against it, unless you're trying to,
Right.
you know,
So it's literally bare necessities
yeah, absolutely.
when you're out there.
Absolutely.
So that's
Because you got to
always-
carry it all day.
yeah,
you want to walk 30 miles and carry
Yeah.
shit that you don't need?
Fuck man.
Absolutely not.
You've always been super smart, so that does make sense. I mean, only a month out in the wilderness for your first time, and you figured it out within a month, down to a science, to have all your stuff. And then, how long did the first trip? Because you walked / hitchhiked / rode the rivers and stuff to Florida.
Yeah.
And how long did that whole journey take you to your like final destination?
So I
First
walked for 2 months. It was 700 to 800 miles. And then I found a bicycle. Somebody ditched it, or I don't really know or care what happened. I think it was God. God was hooking me up. You know, there was
Right.
a bicycle there. Oh,
like,
cool.
hey, bro, you
Absolutely.
done
You
walking?
know, I'm
Yeah.
running out of time. It's getting really darn cold out. Oh, there's a bicycle. So I threw my shit on the bicycle and I bicycled the rest of the way.
I didn't even think about that because the winter. Because what month you left? Probably what it would have been like July or August, shortly after graduation.
It was middle of August
So yeah, the winter was
in
coming.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, winter was
South.
coming.
Yeah.
Damn, because it doesn't break until when I drove up from Florida. It doesn't break till you're, God, way into West Virginia, way out of West Virginia, like Tennessee is when the winter
Yeah, I mean,
finally
to
breaks.
Virginia.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So your trips widened your perspective, I guess,
Absolutely.
on like just
Everything.
yeah,
It's
everything.
everything.
Because you had to have met. You said you met other
Met
people who were
everyone.
doing similar
Met
things.
everything.
Like just like met other like you had that one guy that was like your dude, like that
Yeah,
Marine, that veteran dude.
Yeah.
Have you kept in contact with him at all?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
absolutely.
You guys have any plans to go out again?
I don't know. Me and him, we bicycled from this one horse town per se, and we went up to Erie, and then we went over to New York City, and that was last year.
Nice.
Then I met him in Cocoa Beach. If anyone, hey mom, if you know where that is, and we went down to Key West and back, and shucks.
That's awesome. I remember when the first time you told me about this guy, you said you guys found a boat, or no, somebody gave you a boat to use, right?
Different guy.
Different guy? I just remember the story about you being with a guy, and somebody gave you a boat to use, and then because you guys went the whole way up to like, where did you ended up taking?
Comment.
Alright. Anyway, allegedly, Wolf Reddington had a boat that this guy lent him and this other guy, and they took the boat up the coast. Like you were in Florida, right? Mm-hmm. Allegedly, you were in Florida.
Allegedly.
And then allegedly, you took this boat, this borrowed boat, the whole way up to allegedly where?
A place that we shouldn't have gone, and things happened that shouldn't have happened, and then we got and did what
you
inevitably happened, unfortunate circumstances, and then
lemony snickets know all about unfortunate circumstances.
Unfortunately,
that's crazy. It's just amazing, you know what I mean? Because you were talking with me earlier when I saw you about how you see replicas of people. So go into your idea of how there's replicas and like how you met exact copies of people that we grew up with, who some of whom may be watching. Because I know Doug Titus just joined, Ben Ruth, Jessica Flieger, Vanessa Willis.
Okay, so I meet replicas all the time. As recently as last month, multiple replicas. And the way that I would describe it to you is, they're people that I grew up with, so that's how I know them by. So let's say their name is a John, or a Jane, or a Jeremy, or a Joseph, or a Jeannie, or something. Anyways, I meet them in another place. They are an exact replica, you know, and 9 times out of 10 they seem to look the same as somebody that I have met, who I grew up with, and that's how I know them. I know them by, let's say, hypothetically, their name is a John Doe. If I were to meet John Doe in this other city, and they are an exact replica, I'd be like, hey, this is John Doe. But, you know, I'm not going to say that, but they're everywhere, you know? Like, I am everywhere.
Were their personalities the same?
Yeah, their personalities, but a lot of times, their physical features are the same.
Yeah, doppelgangers,
which makes you wonder if society as a whole will dictate who you become by how you look.
It also is weird because it brings up
because they always look the same.
Of the Matrix, of like society being programmed and being real. Like, because if it's a program, right?
It's not in anyone's control. It's just like an unconscious thing that happens.
It's like if the Earth is a supercomputer.
Oh, you look this way, and I think everything that I've learned from all the TV and all the YouTube and shit that I watched, this is who you are, and then they treat you as such, and then you inevitably become such, as 9 out of 10 times happens.
So you would say the only thing that separates these people who are doppelgangers, in essence, would just be their experiences, how they walk through life, how they experience life, but they pretty much look exactly the same, and maybe there probably are doppelgangers who have never met who do have similar lives and personalities, because I've seen examples of them. Obviously, it's a phenomenon that does exist, but
everywhere.
That's just crazy to like. It would be weird, but I have had pictures sent to me from people. Like, there was this girl in Washington D.C. She sent me a picture. She said, "I was hanging out with you tonight," and she sent me this picture, and it freaked me out. And Steve's profile picture on Facebook is this dude who's jacked but has the same exact face.
Yeah, but he's just straight muscled. He's like Snoop Dogg,
There's definitely certain.
So like,
but that's how it goes, man.
It's weird.
It depends on how you look, how they're going to treat you, and the way that they treat you. All of them, because of how you look, because of the way that society has made them, they will inevitably treat you a certain way. And after so long, many times people cave and they just succumb to such a thing, and then they become that person.
So, have you ever found that when you met somebody that looked like somebody you grew up with, maybe somebody that looked like a close friend of yours, like Caffrey?
Okay.
Did you ever meet another Caffrey?
Yeah.
So, did you find that you ended up treating that person like you would treat somebody you grew up with? Like you feel more inclined to be friendlier to them because they look that way?
I would treat them the same, but they won't treat me the same.
Right, so that's probably a trip because
It
you're
is a
seeing
trip,
this
and
face.
it don't last.
Yeah, you're seeing this face that looks like somebody you know.
And they act exactly the same. And for all intents and purposes, by my standards, they are the same.
Yeah, but
They're
then
the same person.
But then they end up just
It's
being
different quantum reality or however you term it, but
That's crazy. That is a trip. That has to be a trip to actually go through, especially
through it
go
all the
through it
time.
multiple times because that's such a serious.
Like I just met, hypothetically, someone who reminded me of you. One of the coolest people I've met in quite some time. He was with this girl. He would treat her accordingly, per se. And he was the coolest motherfucker I ever met, dude.
That's crazy.
And
I heard rumors that from the last time you told me this that he was out there messing around.
no, well, not really. He was trying to mess around, but he never did.
That's
But
good.
like, he was just a hustler on the streets, man. And like,
That's
but
good.
he was able to like swim and like you look at this dude and like this dude. He's too big. He can't swim like Michael Phelps, and he can, dude.
That's fucking
Motherfucker
nuts.
can
Can
swim
you swim?
across an
Yeah, I
Olympic
can swim like
size.
I love water.
He can swim under an Olympic sized pool underwater the whole way, dude.
That's
putting
crazy.
me to shame, dude.
That's
And I'm
crazy.
like, oh no.
You know what's cool is I will say that everybody who's ever said they met somebody that looked like me, they were like, he's a really cool person.
Well, he
I'm
was like
I don't know,
41,
you know.
so
Holy shit.
yeah. But it was like an older version.
What
of
if
me.
it is what if it is me? Just time travel's a real thing, and I keep coming
It
back.
might be.
That's another thing that is a possibility. There's like time was
He's
figured
way
out.
cool,
somewhere.
dude. He's way
You know?
cool.
Like if time travel's figured out, we would already know, or we wouldn't if they kept it secret. But we would know because if time travel was figured out and I had access to it, I would have traveled back to a point to let myself know. Obviously, we all would have.
Yeah.
Like if
Because we're so smart and
yeah.
shit.
Well, if you were 70 years old and you found time travel, would you go back in time to a younger version of yourself and tell
Dude.
yourself?
There's probably like
John
rules
Connor,
that
the
you
shit
can't
out
do
of it.
Exactly. So like I think there's a way to prove time travel, and that's just go back in time and tell yourself that it's real. And like that's the
Don't
thing.
fuck up with that person because you need them.
Yeah, that's the other scary part is like you wouldn't know if time travel was real because what if you die before it's invented, like the year before it's invented? So you're not coming back to tell yourself, and nobody else was because they don't give a shit about you.
Now, obviously.
Yeah. So I guess when was the first time on your travels you had to kill something to eat it? Like when was the first time you went like legit hunting?
Or fishing, I guess.
Well, you went fishing all the time. That was your
That
shit.
was
That was your first real.
I was probably 20, and then I really started divulging deeper. I don't want to say the arts, divulging deeper into the arts, but I divulged deeper into what it takes, what I would call reality.
Yeah, I
and
think
my
just
personal
delving deeper.
experience. Yeah, delving
Yeah.
deeper into what I would call the real world.
Yeah, because when you
Because
take
if
an
you
animal,
If you think back, that's how people survived for thousands of years, and all of a
Millions.
sudden people decide, I'm too good for that.
yeah,
I don't
I'm
kill
gonna
chicken. I
pay
eat
somebody else to
chicken,
do that.
but I will never kill it. You kill that for me. I will give you paper for such a thing. It is what it is, dude.
What
Real
kind of
quick, I don't mean
tools
to cut
did you
everybody off,
fashion?
but I just want to say thank you to Chad Schweitzer real quick. He just said, you got me sucked into this shit, man, for real, shut my TV off. That is a huge compliment, so thank you very much. I appreciate that. But yeah, that is, it makes sense because a lot of people, it's the vegetarian argument is,
I heard
if
it.
you,
I heard it many times.
if somebody has to kill an animal,
Mhm.
then they probably wouldn't eat it.
I
I would, but
I've
it
hunted
depends.
and
It's like if you're going to kill an animal the way these factories kill an animal, you're
That's
not going to eat
That's
it.
not
But
good.
if you go out there and perform the ritual and hunt the meat and really experience it and realize like you are taking a life to sustain yourself, so you have to kill that animal respectfully, right? Because nature is
I
saying,
don't kill anything for no reason. Everything
Exactly.
I kill, I eat it. Even if I
Exactly.
kill something that shouldn't be eaten, if I kill it, I eat it.
So did you-
Period.
I want to know what kind
So-
of like tools you fashion to like hunt an animal.
I was just
like,
about to-
where-
I just look. I killed a deer once upon a time. Okay, so I was on the Mississippi River paddling. Hoo-la-loo-la-loo. I drowned a deer. I had my dog up front. We were hungry. I drowned this deer. All I had was a Walmart Malta tool, the little $3.98 Walmart Malta tool.
right,
That's it.
like a pocket knife type deal.
Pretty much. I killed this deer. I tied it up to the side of my boat. I went over to Louisiana side, and I cleaned the whole deer with a $4 Walmart multi-tool. It
That's
took me
amazing.
2 days. I cooked the whole deer. I cooked the whole deer in a little camp pot, dude. It took me 2 days. It was a 36-hour event
That's amazing.
to cook an entire deer in a pot that's like
Was that your first deer?
this big. Yeah, that was my first deer.
That is
Wow.
My dog was so hungry. I hadn't fed it in so long because I was running out of food, and I literally cut this deer open, and the dog jumped in
Damn
head first, dude, and started like soaking up the blood, drinking and stuff. It came out, it looked like a demon dog, dude, covered in blood. It was a golden retriever, long hair,
Oh wow,
covered in black red blood. It was
that's
disgusting.
insane.
Dude, that is.
But so that's amazing though. And then so it's such a huge contrast because I remember I think it was the first time you came back from your first trip. You were preaching foraging for berries like no other man I ever met in my life.
That's the way I live. I
You
do it
had
now.
learned in that
I
first
got a
trip
job and all that shit. I still do it. It's a
'Cause it was-
hobby now,
yeah.
I guess.
It was-
used to be a way of life.
Your first trip was 2 years. You didn't come back for like
Yep.
about 2 years.
Yeah.
So during that time, when you came back, you had known like what plant looks like what. You pretty much did.
Yeah, but
delved
I
into
didn't learn
herbology.
from me. I learned from other people that I'd met.
You
Nice.
have
Obviously,
You
I don't
became
just
like an amateur botanist though at that point.
sorts, and I never stopped.
Yeah.
That's a hobby of mine, like a big hobby. Like
So
a
foraging.
naturalist to me is a very
Yeah.
great person.
I remember
like
when
to
you.
hang around with.
I remember when you would leave according to the schedule of what plants would be available. Like you were like, I need to leave by this month because the blueberries are going to be really good
Well,
on my first
As
journey.
of right now, wild strawberries are out. Black raspberries are coming out. Blackberries will be out shortly. Fishing, well, the rivers are flooded at the moment, but
Yeah.
you give it a week or two, and you can go out and catch a couple. It's the way it goes, man.
That's amazing.
I love, personally, my thing is going out into the woods and looking for wild mushrooms. Wild mushrooms
Yeah.
are my thing.
And then so you.
I went golfing the other day at Lucky Hills Golf Course. I found a big batch of chicken in the woods. I went down and
Nice.
cooked it up. It
Nice.
was delicious.
Was that your-
Absolutely delicious.
What's
It
your
was like
favorite? What's your favorite
Hen
wild?
of the Woods was
Oh,
my
it's so
favorite.
good. Have you had
Hen
it?
of
That's
the
good.
Woods.
That's really good.
Hard
That's
to
like a
find now.
specific mushroom. Is hen of the woods?
Yeah.
That's not just like
Hen
they
of the
don't
woods,
call
chicken
it
of the
chicken of
woods.
the woods because it
Are
tastes
you-
like chicken. Like I'm serious.
It's called chicken
It
of the woods
can
because when
taste
you
like
cook
chicken.
it a certain way, yeah. Because when you cook it, it kind of shreds up. Like when
How
you-
many mushrooms are called chicken in the woods? Just
Only
one.
chicken in the woods.
Yeah, only
that's
chicken in the
that's
woods.
all I.
I'll pull up a picture of it after this and show you.
Alright.
So, do you know Wes Witowitz?
No, I'd like to meet him.
Yeah, I need to. He is an expert in mushrooms. He actually does. He lives in Nashville now, but he does actual guide trips. He takes amateur dumbass people in the woods and shows them like this, and he makes
He gets
tinctures.
paid for it?
And yeah, like he's legit, and he got this nice ass place in the wilderness. I will definitely hook you up with him because he's another
meet
one
him.
of a kind person.
Awesome, dude.
I mean, he's amazing. He's a naturalist. Like
Yeah,
he takes us. They do. He's all into hiking. He's a huge dude. He's a brilliant tattoo artist. First time I met him, he showed me a tattoo on the inside of his thigh of a penis with nails and pus, and it's crazy. So he was in this hard rock band called Penis.
Yep.
And he was just he was bigger, and he was just really hardcore. And then over the years, he progressed in like this long-haired, kind of hippie-ish dude, but like super,
Yeah.
blood and dicks. Like that was his. But he's just
Sounds
this
like an interesting
amazing
character.
mushroom aficionado and tincture guy.
Right on.
And like he builds his
Me
own
too.
walking
I
sticks.
love walking through the woods.
So yeah, dude.
But I know more than just mushrooms, though, dude. I know
Yeah.
plants and shit like
That's
that.
why I want to hook you up with this dude because I really think the two of you, you would have a lot of
For
fun.
example, I just hiked on the Appalachian Trail for 2 months before I came here, and I've only been here for, 2 weeks now?
Yeah.
So 2 months, every single day for the last week that I was hiking, I'd find about a pound of chicken in the woods. I would bag it in a Ziploc bag. I'd grab about a pound of nettle greens, and I would nettle greens is like spinach. So it would be like spinach and mushrooms and whatever else I could grab. One day I got a snapping turtle. One day I caught bluegill. One day I caught frogs. You know what I mean? You throw that in with the mushrooms that are more or less a staple.
Yeah.
And the nettle greens, which are absolutely a staple. I find them all the time.
Chad Schweitzer just said cook hen of the woods up with steak, and you can throw the steak out there still so good.
If they're
So
cooked right.
good shit.
Hen of
Chad.
the woods,
Yeah.
man, steak to me. That's
Yeah.
the shit, dude.
So I remember So when you first came back, do you remember me asking you if I could go with you a bunch of times?
Should have.
And how many? Like, I used to ask you all the time, like, man, I want to go with you. I should go with you, and I never pulled the trigger.
Yeah, I do.
Because like I would say there's probably a decent percentage of people who would love to really connect with nature and do that.
But you gotta leave your comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly. They don't pull that trigger.
It's a comfort zone, man. It's
So
like this.
and
And a lot of people stay in their comfort zone, which is this big. But there's a whole world out there.
Yeah.
But if you never leave that comfort zone, nothing's ever gonna grow.
That's what broke me, was leaving my comfort zone, and then like I had to break myself down in order to become who I am now, and to be driven and focused and just know what I want from my life. You know what I mean? Because when I asked myself,
I think
who
you
am
know
I?
now. You just went down to Florida. You came back. I think you know now.
Which is weird because Florida is like it can be a catalyst because it's the farthest place south you can go.
Yeah.
When you're looking at the
Key
ocean,
West.
you realize how small you are. When I asked myself the question, who am I, and I said nothing. The answer was nothing. I am nothing. I am
No,
just me.
none of
There's
us
nothing more than just me.
None of us are a damn thing.
So it's just
maybe
super
all
interesting.
of us together or something.
Yeah, that's the true that's a true statement right there, because all of us together are something, but on our own we are just insignificant dots on a map that have the power. The crazy thing is, though, even though we might be nothing, we do have the power to bring people together.
Yeah.
I believe that certain individuals have the power to just be a catalyst and be that glue that can kind of stick people together and create moments like this. You know,
Yeah,
I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I feel I can feel it in this moment because here we are. Like, I had this idea. Steve was with me. I was just driving in my car, podcasting. Me and Steve are painting a house, and you're across the street.
Pack this room full of interesting characters.
So I'm just really proud of this moment. I'm happy to have you here because it's bringing a lot of good memories back of just speaking to you. I remember when you left off on the Freeport River, because I took you down. I'll tell you guys a story. Me and Wolf.
Don't go too deep.
I won't go too deep.
Okay.
Me and Wolf, we always had this thing where we ran into each other randomly, out of nowhere, out of the blue, and then something would happen. So I ran into him one day, and I'm telling him I'm taking this trip down to my hometown to stay for a few days. He says, yeah, my kayak is here, pick me up here in the morning. So I pick him up in the morning, we strap his kayak to the top of the Jeep, we drive down, and we stay in the country. My friend has this beautiful property at this nice house. We stay in the country. We allegedly expanded our minds for 3 days straight. Got a funnel cake that was disgusting. Remember, I got that funnel cake. It was just way too hot, and I was way too hot. It's disgusting. I made a fool of myself, and I showed Wolf where I grew up from like kindergarten to like 8th grade, and it was a really fun experience. It was lovely. I don't have a bad thing to say, but it's still to this day probably one of my favorite moments in where I did literally nothing. We did nothing, but it was still a really beautiful moment. So we experienced that, and then Wolf says, "All right, when we go to leave here, you're going home, right?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Just take me to the river," and I was like, "I know exactly what to let you off." I take him to the Freeport River, and just push you off on your kayak.
Do you remember that scooter I had?
Yeah, you had that amazing, like, lightweight but super durable scooter.
Oh,
it was your
yeah.
second one at that point, right? It was your second one.
Those are the
You
shit.
burned-
And hypothetically, if I were ever to make a video, it will incorporate such a scooter as such.
You said 700 miles per scooter? Something like that? Like you could put...
I said like 1,500 miles per scooter at least.
Is it a motorized scooter?
No.
Just like a pedal kick.
It's like
It's
a
a-
racer
yeah,
scooter on
right.
steroids.
It is, dude. It has, like, hard wheels.
Yeah,
and it's
dude.
just...
I was riding it on the Appalachian Trail. So I would hike on the Appalachian Trail. If it wasn't too rocky and it wasn't too roady, like not too hot, Berenstain Bears, not just right.
Yeah, I got you.
I'd be like, hey, get out the fucking way. You know
used
what I
to
mean?
tell
And
me
they'd
you
be like,
catch so much
they'd have their
speed.
backpack on and shit for like months and shit. And I'm like, fucking
Yeah.
fly right by me, 15 miles an hour.
You told me you would be I forget the exact word. but
Because
it's
they're like,
hard to
no
use.
bicycles, no nothing, but nothing about scooters, so I was just
Fuck it.
killing it, dude.
Man, didn't they redo the bike trail from like Pittsburgh to West Virginia?
Look, they were
Some
talking
point.
about making a bike trail from Pittsburgh to Erie. One-stop shop. It don't
Yeah.
exist.
It
Period.
doesn't. They never did it.
It doesn't exist.
They did from
I've done
Pittsburgh.
everything from Pittsburgh to Erie multiple times.
Pittsburgh to DC.
You're talking
That's
Route
right.
8 pretty
Pittsburgh
much.
to DC though, right? They have one now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been there.
That one's been there.
That's the three. That's the look, dude. That's the longest bike trail in this country. But the problem is, if you were to type it in, what's the longest bike trail in this country? It ain't gonna show up because it's two separate bike trails.
Yeah.
They have it as the Allegheny Passage, which goes to Cumberland, Maryland, and then they have the C&O Canal Path, which goes from Cumberland to DC. But they both connect. It's a continuous path of flat trail that's 350 miles.
Man.
350 miles with campsites, a flat grade. I mean, sure.
How nice was that compared to when you first
Absolutely
went?
beautiful. I used to do it every single year for like 7 years straight.
That's
I used to go
beautiful.
from Pittsburgh to DC and back.
Man.
Why wouldn't you? It takes like 7 days to do it.
I have such an offbeat question, but it's going to be an interesting one. How many, if any, love interests did you run into in your travels? Like, yeah, this is one thing we've never talked
A
about.
couple,
A couple females, like a couple love
a
interests in your
couple,
life?
like, yeah. But, yeah,
Anyone that you still think about?
sometimes. But,
If this is your chance to possibly find this person if you lost them.
nah, I can find them if I want.
Yeah. That's amazing. So, like, did you ever spend, like, extended periods of time traveling or living or staying
Yeah,
with these people?
yeah, I did.
You don't have to use any
It's a
names or
beautiful
personal
thing.
information, but, like,
And it's a beautiful thing. It really is, and I just don't understand why more girls don't do such a thing.
was there a
I really
moment
don't.
where you were like, this is it for me? Was there a possibility? Was there a path available that could have happened where you would have been?
There was a path available that could have happened.
But it just didn't. Yeah.
Why
That's
not?
crazy.
We allowed to ask that.
Life, man, probably just gets in the way.
Yeah.
Wasn't ready. I mean,
No, it wasn't me.
Wasn't the time.
It wasn't
I got
me.
you.
The universe didn't want it to happen yet. So I guess I know this is going to be in short order, but you got any cool stories, Matt? I'm just kidding. It's like I got our other guest. Matt is our roommate. He lives with Steve and I. He is actually a writer. He's going to be he's our writer. Hopefully soon, working on some stuff with us. But have you ever wanted to do anything like that, like travel? Because I know I have.
Oh yeah, dude. I've definitely thought about it, but like he said, it's all about.
Pulling the trigger.
Well, I mean,
comfort
you're
zone.
so worried about like I have to have a job to get this money to pay these bills. I got to be there for this person. So when you leave, I don't know if you feel like you're being selfish or like it's your comfort zone. But I mean, we had this discussion about an hour ago. Like you have to. It takes some serious steps just up and. I mean, it's just the uncertainty, man. Like, what do you do? Where do you stay? Like, things that you take for granted, you just have to have the balls.
It's the
to
money,
do
it's
it.
the financial.
Now, do you?
issue, too.
This is that made me think about this. Do you admit or at least accept that you were a little lucky in the beginning to have like the opportunity, like you were able to live here, do what you were to do to get the complex, and then sell it? Most people don't have that. Like, I mean, that was a pretty good financial start.
Maybe.
To like the catalyst. To
Maybe
you know
all
what I
them
mean?
things just happened to fall into my hands or whatever. But
I wouldn't say they. I
nothing
wouldn't say they fell
stopped
in your
me
hand,
from
but, like,
leaving.
I mean,
Nothing
that's what I
stopped
mean.
me from leaving, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
You could leave. You could leave. You could leave. Anyone could leave. Anyone out there watching, you
I don't
could
mean like
all
it
leave
was-
right now.
It was
if you
handed
wanted
to you at all. I mean, like,
None.
would you say that it was like?
I spent everything that I made here to go out and learn what I know.
Would you have gone without that financial backing, you think?
Did it make it easier to leave? I guess is what I'm really
It
saying.
made it easier to
Okay.
leave, but that was all it took for me
Yeah.
in particular.
Do you think that's what it is for a lot of people? Is just like they're looking for that
I don't
moment
think so.
where like, and that's the sick thing about money. That's one thing I really don't like. I enjoy it,
Well,
but I hate how much control it
It
has
takes
over
money to
life.
make money, but you need
Exactly.
to know how to live without it. I know how to
Yeah.
live without it.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy is like it took money.
You're gonna have to stoop to levels if you want to do such a
Yeah.
thing. You're gonna have to stoop to levels that a lot of people like. There's an old phrase: "Pride comes before a fall."
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Don't let
A lot of
your
people
ego
got
get
this
in the way.
fucking pride, dude.
You gotta let go.
Where's
of
it get you?
So they've been
your
preaching
ego.
pride as a
will
fall thing
always-
since
yeah.
the Alien, Homer, and all, writers for thousands of years, like just
You're
trash
gonna
and
have to do
pride.
things you didn't want to do. You have to dumpster dive. You're gonna have to, hey man, can you help me? Can you give me a ride, dude? Please give me a ride. I need a
And
ride.
doing those things though open up the most beautiful human exchanges you'll ever find.
They do.
Because you meet people who you'll
A lot of times they're old timers who've
And
been through such a thing.
and it builds your character because then you're able to read people because you're able to say, well, this person is a piece of shit and this person is a good person. Your radar for bullshit's a lot better when you do go through something like that. Because my entire life, my parents raised me in a way that like they always had their door open. We had an open door policy, and so I saw all kinds of different walks of life. We were dirt poor, and then we were middle class. So we went through we went through it, and they taught me to just never let my pride stop me from helping somebody or asking for help. But there's a lot of times where I don't want to be. I want to be the one helping. I don't want to be the one getting help.
Well,
And I think that's one thing that makes me who I am. Is I just
Help people, don't need
is there
yourself.
anything that feels better? Like maybe is there anything more beautiful in life than doing something for somebody just because you?
Why do
feel
you
like
think oral sex is so pleasurable?
dude, I mean,
You're
probably
doing
just-
something for somebody, and then when they do something for you, it's like, oh, dude, this is better than Christmas.
I mean, I was thinking just like picking up like somebody who ran out of gas.
There's not a lot of things that are better than
or,
Christmas.
you know, you're
I
right.
can't wait till you guys see when I decorate, because I like to decorate for Christmas. I'm going all out.
You're not talking about like throwing ropes.
You decorate.
You know what I mean? Oral sex,
Yeah.
throwing ropes on the Christmas tree.
No, yeah, I'm talking about throwing coordinated lights on the
Okay.
Christmas tree.
That's
And
Yeah, I'd
bulbs
love to
and,
see
like,
it.
and I do every year. So my parents did every year from
Like
when I was growing up.
Chevy
So
Chase Christmas Vacation style.
National Lampoon all the way. I
That's
lampoon
okay.
the fuck out of Christmas.
I'm good with
I
that.
like to decorate like that. I don't know if I'm gonna do the whole outside of this house because it's so big, but
It's a giant house, man.
yeah. I guess the next story I want you to tell, and it's funny and it's sad, but do you remember that story about all the gerbils?
Yeah.
And you were on a raft
I
and the
did.
guy
Someone
rolled
else
over and
just told me
slept
about that today.
and squished.
Seems to be a classic.
Dude, it's
Of
such a
sorts.
classic. It's such a
Alright.
classic because it's such a beautiful portrayal of life and death and like how things can change in a moment.
Okay, so once upon a time, there was a guy. He was very drunk, and we went up into this town. I don't even remember what state it was in. I think it was in Ohio. I think it was in Ohio, and he's all drunk, and I'm just thinking, well, shucks. I wasn't drunk at the time, and I was like, well, shucks. If I was drunk, I sure would like to go into a pet store and look at exotic pets. I thought it would be cool. So I was like, hey man, let's go into the pet store and look at pets. Woo, yeah! You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's what he says. So we go in, and then we're in there, and he's like, I want it. And I'm like, man, what the fuck? No, but like, seriously, there's no, I need it, like, type. So we bought a couple gerbils, and we were literally rolling down the river.
You had a big raft at this point.
No,
too, right?
no. We had so it was John boats. There was a 14-foot and a 12-foot, and we C-clamped them, ass end to ass end, 2 C-clamps on both sides. So they're connected. We had a Brendel pit bull, a really stout Brendel pit bull, and then we had my buddy. There were 2 retired Marines. I was 21 at the time. My buddy was 39. My other buddy was 33, and we're rowing. Dude on one boat's rowing forwards.
Explain
Like
for our
bench press.
audience real quick what a john boat is.
A John boat is like just a flat boat. Usually they have a motor on it. Typical boat that you see with a motor, without a motor, and we're rowing. So we got them tied together, and we're rowing together. So I'm rowing, my buddy's rowing. We're rowing, and my other buddy's canoeing. Anyways, we get up on Ohio, and I'm like, oh fuck, we're strung out from rowing. We go up in there, he buys his gerbils. He goes up into this tent with these gerbils, and
Before you get to this part, isn't there a point where you go into a town and you trade or sell something in order to get a bunch of alcohol?
that's just how
Was
it's
there any
going.
part of the story I just remember part of the story where like you traded or sold something outrageous. I don't even know if it was gerbils. If he had a bunch of gerbils and he ended up selling some of them before.
No,
No.
we're just living the dream.
All right. So in the tent, what happens?
This dude's like a Marine, ex-Marine dude. He has these night flashes or night terrors or whatever you call them. We're just like, oh my god, man, he's fucking kicking and thrashing. But his policy was, we need to let these gerbils
Wait, what?
We need to let these gerbils run free range in our tent. so we'd be sleeping, right? And the gerbils would be running around, and the one gerbil was nuts, dude. Like, wait, and be doing crazy shit. Anyways, he's doing these night thrashes, night tears. Wow, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, and he's kicking and thrashing and shit, and he kills one of them, like, just in his... Yeah, and like, we wake up in the morning, and the dude is like, oh no. It's like a pancake. The gerbil's like a pancake. Aww. He picks the gerbil up, it looks like a pancake. He's like, no. He starts crying. He starts...
So this Marine veteran...
Yeah, Marine veteran starts crying. No. Dude, like holding it up, dude. And I'm looking at the other guy. The other guy's like... what the fuck? And I'm like, alright. And he's like, we have to bury them. Well, the other one, I don't know what happened to it. It died eventually, but not on that particular occasion, per se. But this one was like a pancake. But the thing was, is all these gerbils were named after bottles of liquor. So this one was like colored, so it was Calico Jack. Oh. And the other one was black, so it was Black Velvet, dude.
That's amazing.
And he squished it in his thrashing. And he buried it, dude. Just ridiculous. You can't make it up.
That's hilarious. This guy, you can't make it up. I mean, that's amazing. A guy goes into a pet store so drunk that he sees gerbils and falls in love with them. Then he takes them with him on his John boat, and he
kills them within a week.
Within a week, free-range gerbils in a tent.
Yep.
Has a night terror. Squishes one, and the other two allegedly died per se.
I'm sure his night terror didn't get any better after that.
Wow.
No, they didn't, man.
No, for sure.
I punched my buddy right in the face for no reason.
I wonder what happened to that guy.
Me too.
There's no mercy.
That's amazing. He probably has some gerbil fight. He probably like adopts battered gerbils.
Dead.
Jesus, man, that's nuts. So I guess what I'm doing here is just recalling stories that you've told me for you to tell. If I ever bring up one that you don't want to tell, it's fine. There's one that I know is you might not want to tell, but it's the first time you almost drowned. It was the first time you recognized the true danger of the river. It was the Mississippi, right?
This is
you lost everything you had.
Yep.
Do you mind telling that story?
Yeah. Once upon a time. Okay. So I was I literally had no money at this point. None. I left on like $8, and I made it from here to the border of Ohio and West Virginia. That's in the vicinity that I was in. I had no money, so I was dumpster diving to get things, and like I just came across a big time score. Like I hit Aldi's ALDI. I found a bottle of wine.
Nice.
So I start drinking, but I also found potatoes, apples, bread,
sustenance,
sausage, everything that you would need for days, and I had it all in my boat. And then somebody's like, I was going up into town and back to do my thing, because I had the awesome ass kick scooter, of course, and I was just zipping in and out, you know, and I ended up meeting this guy, and he's like, hey, you can't come through here like this. And I was like, why not? He's like, you need to pay $20. It's like, why? There's a concert. It turned out to be the Temptations.
Oh,
the Temptations were performing on the river that night. And I was like, well, fuck. I need to be a part of this, and I need to be on the water, and I need to be drunk. So I ended up accumulating what I did to be a part of it. And so I'm drinking a 40 in between two yachts.
Listening to the Temptations live.
To the Temptations with an orchestra live on the river. And, you know, I'm just jamming out. And then it was a blast. But then it was over. And then I went and I was catfishing with this dude. And then I don't even remember, I got so drunk I don't even remember putting my boat back in the water. And the next thing you know, I'm swimming in the middle of the river like 4 in the morning. I'm just swimming in the middle of the Ohio River. And this is where the Ohio River gets really, really big. And if you ever do some kayaking, it's pretty similar muscles to swimming.
Right.
So I'm already super sore from paddling all day. And I'm like, you know, I woke up in the middle of the river swimming around like, I started laughing, so I sink down. Like, oh shit, might want to live or something. So I'm paddling and I finally I can't swim no more, and I sink down and then I hit the bottom, but I was so far away and it was a gigantic sandbar, and it's like if that sandbar didn't happen to come that far out into the river, that
you probably would.
I'd be dead. And I get up to the bank, I'm puking, it's fucking raining, I had nothing, and I wake up in the morning and I still have nothing, and I do the whole dumpster dive thing all over again. I made it through, but
I remember you telling me that was one of the worst moments of your entire trips. Like when you
it
made
was
it to
one
that
of the worst
riverbank.
moments of my whole life.
Yeah, I remember when you I know it's hard. It's probably hard to talk about, but I remember you telling me you made it to that riverbank. You fought for your life for however long it took. You made it to that riverbank.
I did. There's an old
you
phrase,
said you sat there.
Pray to God, but keep running towards the shore.
Yeah. You said
I
you
did
sat
my
there
best.
and cried until you
my
passed out.
sorry ass,
right?
per se.
Like it was that traumatic for you. Just lose
It
everything. It was like a beautiful moment ended that abruptly. So presumably, what happened was you got blackout drunk, and then your kayak tipped, and that's what woke you up. When you hit the when you hit the water.
No, what woke me up is I don't know what woke me up, man. I just know I woke up in the middle of the river with nothing.
Damn. So then
and I had my scooter, I had the yak, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All that shit that I had just gotten, dude. Enough shit for a whole week.
That's why.
And my scooter, which was a $300 scooter.
That's why you ended up telling me that story, because that was the last time I saw you, was that trip when I pushed you off. I pushed you off on that trip. And then I didn't see you again until you came back.
Yeah, that was the end of it.
Yeah, because what's amazing though,
I lost
what's amazing about that
to
story,
$1,500 worth of shit in 1 second, probably.
What's amazing about that story to me is how quick you were able to bounce back from it.
Yeah, dude.
Because
but you do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
You gotta survive. I had to steal shit. I'm not gonna lie. I had to go into stores and steal shit. I had to go in and dumpster dive, and I had to do what I had to do.
You said at one point you were going to house parties when you'd see them, and just taking booze if you could, and then also.
I wasn't drinking after that.
Really?
Not after that. Fuck no, dude.
Yeah. Nice.
That was the whole reason that happened, dude.
So now you won't kayak or boat drunk unless it's somebody else.
Absolutely not.
Unless you're with somebody else in there sober
I
boat.
won't kayak or whatever.
Yeah.
Not being drunk.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. That's
time,
intense.
yeah.
That's intense because it's amazing to. Because people go through that uncomfortable life when they lose their shit. They lose their job and their girlfriend and their car. But you're out there in the wilderness already, surrounded, completely alone. So if something would happen, who the fuck? Nobody knows where you are.
No.
And you lost everything.
Yeah, my phone's gone.
I have a saying.
Ain't no phone, ain't no wallet, dude.
I have a saying.
Wake up with
just.
dude, I had a pair of, I woke up, I had a pair of jean shorts and no boxers, and they were soaking wet. If you know how uncomfortable that would be to walk around an entire city and get your shit together like that.
Jesus.
I had no shoes. My glasses were broken in half. I held them like Harry Potter together with a piece of tape, dude.
Ocular repair.
With a fucking piece of tape, dude. And I had a t-shirt and I had no hat, so I grabbed a hat off the back, or grabbed flip-flops. I had 2 left-footed flip-flops. And I'm walking around just upgrading all day long, dude. And by the end of the day, I had, this is no thing, but I had stolen a backpack. I filled the backpack up with food. I had stolen a couple lighters. I was straight, man. I was straight for 3 or 4 days.
So
after one day,
I have a saying about that.
Some random ass city that I've never been to in my whole life.
My saying is, people with less always do more. So whenever you're down, I always say this to people who are down and they're struggling. I'm like, there's somebody right now out there with less doing more. So if you have what you have, you can do more. That's what I always say. If you have less, you can still do more.
Motivation in the flesh, dude.
For sure.
You're not trying to die today, are you? You know what I mean?
So yeah, that is.
You don't know anyone. You don't know anywhere. You don't know anything. The fuck are you gonna do?
Gotta figure it out.
You ain't gonna die today, are you?
Nope. Gotta figure it out. So yeah, that is true survivalism. That's why I've always liked people like Les Stroud, the guy who did Survivor Man. He was the only one. He went out there by himself, videotaped himself. What's crazy is he did that Survivor stuff, and at the same time, was a video editing and like doing this video stuff on his own, and like had the sense of mind to do that, which is why I am super interested in like.
But when you make them survival things, dude, you still gotta appeal to the people, dude.
It's so amazing he was able to do that. It's such a raw talent
He
to be
was,
able
but
to
it's
survive
done,
and
dude.
do that
It's
stuff. Yeah, that's why I'm interested in working with you to create
urban survival.
all
Don't
kinds of
survive
survival.
in some real shit
Yeah,
that people can relate to.
Yeah.
Like I can make a killing around here with nothing.
yeah, exactly.
There's
I
just
think.
things that you can't expose per se because everyone will do it.
Yeah,
Like if it was easy, everyone would do it. But there are things that you hypothetically could know around here that might make your life a little bit easier. But then if you expose it,
a lot of people are going to try to copy it.
everyone's going to.
doing it. Yeah.
Why not?
So
Free
that's why I
money,
think, like-
free money, free food.
Yeah. When you're on your
Fuck, jump
travels,
on that.
when you're on your travels, I would love to get video footage from you, just
I'm
for
gonna do
you doing that stuff, because it would be amazing. I think our viewers would really, really be into it. I think
think so,
you
too.
definitely have a fan in Chad Schweitzer. He definitely is into this. So thank you, Chad. He's been commenting all along. He's been watching the entire time. But yeah, dude, that's an amazing story, and it's not even half. It's not even a quarter of it, which is another amazing part of it, because you have 8 years now. 8 years
10
now.
years now.
10, because we graduated 10 years ago.
Decade, motherfucker.
Decade of this wilderness, and usually you just like winter times you're usually out. Like you come back when you can walk and to see people in the summertime usually, but when it hits wintertime you're usually gone.
Yeah, like wintertime this last winter I was in Florida.
Yeah, that's
Just
what it
like probably the one before and the one before that.
Yeah, I mean spring break is something I definitely
Yeah,
wanna
that's
do,
swell.
'cause it's
Kansas
insane.
City Beach.
I remember when I was
Nowhere I'd
driving.
rather be at that time.
I was driving near Pensacola Beach in Florida, and I hear this first time I ever heard it was a radio announcement for spring break, and they were like, "Come on down, we got 4
crazy,
floors
dude.
of party."
That
It's a
place
fucking
is-
beach place, with like
Dude,
4
let me tell
dance
you about
floors.
Panama City Beach. So, the first time I went there, dude. My buddy, me and him, we were road dogs from a previous journey, and I just so happened like, hey, bro, I'm back in this area. Let's take a trip. You know what I mean? So we ended up taking a trip. This dude is old school, man. He's like 50 something, and I was like 21 or 22, and so we go through the Gulf, dude, and we're stooled up with this Indian guy. His name is Two Feathers. I don't know what his real name is. He's like, you refer to me as Two Feathers. Okay. We're living on a sailboat. This dude has money coming in. I don't care where it comes from, but he would just hand us money. Like, here's $40, couple cases. So, and all we had to do was ride across the bridge.
And this is Indian 2 Chainz.
Yeah. And this is his sailboat that we're living on. We're living on a sailboat.
That's tight.
So it's like ride across the bridge and get more beer. We did that shit for like three weeks, but my buddy, and what I call him is Butcher Bob, he pinch it every time. So he gives us $40, we go get the beer, but he's pinching like $5 every time. So we leave 3 weeks later, he's got like $50-$60, dude, stashed up. Two Feathers, he don't give a shit, man. Everyone at that town viewed him as crazy, but we're rolling with him for that time, you know, we're drinking with him, he just needs someone to drink with. And we're chilling on the sailboat, and like the most classic story was he had bowel issues per se, and he just shit on my buddy's foot one time. And like, my buddy was like, he kicked the shit up, he's like, ew, you know, kicked it up, and the shit was stuck up on the top of the sailboat. Anyways, we went to Panama City Beach after that, and it took all of our money to, you know, we were wasted the whole way. We get to Panama City Beach, we got no money. We get there, and I was flying a sign like, hey, need beer or something like that. And we got maybe 10 beers that day, and then we're in, you know?
Yeah.
And it was all kids, dude. It was like 21-year-old college kids, if that, you know what I mean? And we were making money just, hey, because I didn't have an idea, I don't think, at the time. And I was like, dude, people would come up to me, and they'd be like, hey, man, I need a fucking Four Loko or some shit. And I was like, hey, my buddy will hook you up for $5. So I'd charge him $5 to go get a Four Loko, right? And Four Loko is like $3
Yeah.
or $2 or whatever, and you know, I'd come back to us after so many times. You know, we got some money. You know what I mean? We're making a living on spring break just buying 4 Locos for underage kids.
Yeah.
It sounds fucked up. Or
No,
illegal
because
or
you're
whatever.
technically just a bartender for spring break. Like
Kind of.
You're
They're
beach
already
tender.
drunk. They're
Yeah.
already drunk, dude.
You're
You're
beach
drunk off
tender.
their fucking ass. They're like, Dad, can you get me a fucking beer?
You know what happened if you went down there with a cooler full of Jello shots without any alcohol in them?
But
Or just
the thing is, the real money though is when people get drunk on the fucking beach, dude. Like, oh
Yeah.
shit, and they like leave it, dude. I remember, dude. One time I came across these scores, dude. There was an 11. It was normally a 12-pack of Heineken bottles, but one was gone. So I grabbed 11 bottles, dude. I carried my big Appalachian Trail backpack with me, slink. And then I grabbed these flip-flops, Adidas memory foam slink, and then I grabbed these Nike shoes, dude, real nice Nikes from my buddy buying. And then I grabbed this backpack, dude. It was a whole backpack. It was like a $300 backpack. I threw it in my backpack. In that backpack was $80, a fucking Gerber flip blade, which is like a $30 blade,
Fucking right.
binoculars, which is like $50. You know what I'm saying? And then I kept going, dude. And that was one day, dude. We were set for the whole fucking week or two.
Just drunk people leaving shit behind.
Drunk, rich kids, dude.
Yeah, that makes sense. That would be that's a legit way to sustain yourself on spring break because you know what? Those people don't need it, obviously. And you, in a sense, it's almost like you've earned it because you're out there picking it up. It's going to go in the ocean or somebody else, some other asshole's going to take it anyway.
Spring break,
Yeah.
Tennessee Beach.
They
It's
don't give a
crazy,
fuck.
dude. There'd be you people walking around the beach, blah, 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 and you look over in the ocean, and there's a fucking beer here, there's a Red Bull there, like vitamin water.
Yeah,
Vitamin
shit
water
just floating
sponsored it, so
around.
vitamin waters were everywhere.
Jesus.
Floating with the tide, like, here comes a beer, thank you, you know,
Did you
keep
ever-
walking, dude, boom, thanks, I'll take a Red Bull, you know.
Did you ever take shit, like, if there was all that stuff floating, have you ever thought about, like, grabbing all the things that are floating and then, like, setting up and, like, selling them for $1 or $2?
You could, but dude, we didn't have to.
Yeah.
Like that, I hit an $80 score.
But that's what I mean, is, like, there's so many ways to make money down there, that's insane. Like, there's just, like, literally any way you could think of, there's a way to make
For
money.
real, dude. For real.
That's awesome. That's
Selling drugs would probably be the one.
Yeah, but that can get you. That's the stuff we're talking about. Can't go to jail for. You know what I
No,
mean?
you can't.
So like selling drugs. Why would you risk going
No,
to jail
I'm
selling
selling the world,
drugs?
dude.
Yeah, why would you risk selling drugs and going to jail when you can fucking make free money?
All
pretty
the
much
drunken
just
people's idiocracy.
assisting drunken people, and it's you're providing a service. You're making sure these 20-year-old kids who aren't 21 yet are having a good time at spring break. I wouldn't even
I'm
say
doing the world service. I can sleep at night.
exactly. You're doing the
Survival
world a
business
service.
with Reddington.
Yeah.
I have. You know what? I'm gonna refresh this because, or no, Steve. How long have we been running? And you're gonna you probably have to close it and then reopen it. I wouldn't say the whole Facebook.
Nice. Dude. You said that was your best shirt too.
Yeah, it's one of my best ones. Yeah, Savage
You
shirt.
still doing that?
Yeah, this episode is brought to you by True Merch Co., maker of fashionable T-shirts
Best
and other
fucking
items.
shirts in them.
They're all 100% cotton, really nice, comfortable shirts. If you want them, please PM me, comment, message, whatever you want to do. True Merch Co. shirts. If you have a design you want to put on a shirt, I'll put it on. I'll put your fucking face in a shirt for $10. I don't
Worth
give a
it.
shit.
Worth it.
An hour and 10 minutes. Nice. This has actually been our longest episode. I think this has been our most interesting episode to date. It's definitely been one of the funnest. Wolf Reddington, everybody. Give him a round of applause. Thank you so much. Honestly, this was amazing. Matt, thank you for being here. Steve, thank you for being here. Yeah, Matt, you'll be with us next week. Wolf, if you want to come with us, you're more than welcome to come every Sunday.
One of these days.
Every Sunday, I think next Sunday might be 9:30, and then after that, you're off in the world with a camera, and we will hear from you. You guys will. Hopefully, we can get a T-shirt made. I want to make a Wolf Reddington T-shirt, so we'll put it on
With
our
that
merch
hat.
store.
Big woof.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a picture of you before you go,
Oh, yeah.
because I would like to use that image of you with the glasses and the hat on
Sure.
a T-shirt.
Question.
And then
Image, motherfucker.
here's the thing: everybody who watches this, who is going to see this and listen to this and everything, if we make a Wolf Reddington T-shirt, every Wolf Reddington T-shirt that you buy, a portion of the proceeds will go to his survival fund.
Keep me alive, biatch.
Well, also let's raise money to send you places.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's get
I want to go out west.
Yeah, let's get Wolf Reddington in the Redwood Forest.
Yeah,
I want
absolutely.
you to find Bigfoot.
Absolutely.
I want you out there in Saskatchewan.
Yep,
You know, Canada. You know,
I
there's some
wanna be out
beautiful
west.
places out there, man. Garo is in Colorado right now, killing it. You know,
Fuck,
so
is he watching me right now?
I don't know, but he will. I'll share it to him, and he will watch it. But yeah, he's out there killing it. So I think, I think everybody who's joining this right now, everybody who is watching this and who is going to watch this, please go back to the beginning. We're about to end the video. We're going to stop here soon. Please go back, watch this entire episode. Hear some amazing stories from Wolf Reddington himself, and just some really good conversations, guys. Before we go, I do want to touch on one subject. We want to talk about the shooting that happened in Pittsburgh. There's a lot of things going around, and I guess we should just kind of share our opinion on it. So we're going to go around the table and talk about it.
What's the details of this?
I'll start with that, and then I'll tell you what I think. So there was a shooting 3 days ago now, I believe, is how long it's been, in Pittsburgh on the east side. A young man who was 17, he was an honor student, he was shot in the back while fleeing. So they got pulled over because their car matched the description of a car that was involved in a drive-by shooting. The car also had ballistics damage, which means the back window was shot out. Mm-hmm. They get pulled over, and the driver gets handcuffed. The two other occupants run from the car. As they're running, a police officer fires and shoots 17-year-old Antoine Rose twice in the back, and he dies. So I guess what I have to say is, if Antoine Rose would have allegedly evolved in a drive-by. We don't know for sure, but it sounds like that's what happened. If he would have successfully been in a drive-by shooting and killed a younger black male in the east side of Pittsburgh, it would have been on the news, but there wouldn't have been people shutting down the parkway. There wouldn't have people marching with signs on the bridge. If it would have just been a normal drive-by shooting, because there's shootings in Homewood every other night.
Yeah.
And I don't see anybody marching.
Case,
But because a cop shot somebody who he didn't know personally, he didn't know it was a 17-year-old, he didn't know what happened. All the cop knew was that 3 months ago, a cop got shot chasing a suspect. So option one, chase, he's not going to do it. Option two, let him go. A cop saying, I'm going to let you go, and you could possibly hurt somebody else, but I don't know that. Option three, shoot and kill him. You have to make that decision in a split second. He made a decision, and it was wrong. I think the cop could have shot him in the leg.
Could have shot him and incapacitated him.
I think if you're a police officer, you should have the weapons training. You should have the right weapons training, and you should know how to hit a target without killing them. I think that
they're perfect.
Well, here's the thing. I think that police forces are undertrained in a lot of aspects, especially when it comes to handling weapons. Some officers take it upon themselves to do special training, but a lot of officers don't have the time or the resources to do that training on their own time, so the departments need to step it up and make sure that this doesn't keep happening, because there is a way to shoot somebody and incapacitate them without killing them. Just don't hit this section of their body, or this section. Like, if you're not aiming for the head, it's a smaller target. So you're aiming for the middle of their body. Aim for like the sides, not the middle. If you try to hit somebody in the chest, you're gonna hit their heart or their lungs. Hit somebody in the stomach or the legs. Yeah. If you shot me in the legs while I was running, I would go down like a sack of potatoes, and I would go
Right now.
I feel like he wanted that kid to die. Or
For sure.
At that moment, he wanted that kid dead, not stopped.
No, but yeah, he went
stopped
into
to tase them.
He saw the chance to use the force, because there's a law that says they're allowed to use the force if a suspect is fleeing from a felony arrest, right? And I don't know what Chad. Before we switch to Steve to see what he has to say about this, Chad says, one thing that bothers me about things that happen like this is they always take the picture from when they were 10, singing in a church choir, and say how great they were, but they don't tell you what happened before that. That is true. I think it is an attempt to. I will say I think it's a good thing they show a humanizing picture, because I think they should show a humanizing picture of the cop as well.
Right.
But I think we always need to remember these are human beings.
Yeah.
Beyond a color, beyond a gun, beyond a badge, these are human beings trying to just live, do whatever they need to do to survive, or just live, and they make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. That's the point that I think we need to remember. These are human beings, and I think that if there was just another option out there besides instantly going to kill them. That would fix some of the problem. But I mean, it's a rough situation.
It is. There's too much into it to really make a decision
Yeah,
without
I mean,
knowing, like, you know, it would help to see, like, this cop's, what he has to say
Right.
about what happened. Because
Well,
it's
we don't
a
know
lot,
every
you
detail
know, like,
of what
yeah,
happened.
just
The
his
statement
remorse or
from-
whatever would kind of give you an idea of
He's
where
on
his
paid
line is at.
administrative leave. The statement from the police department is they're investigating the incident, and they wish. I'm pretty sure they said something like that. They wish it didn't have to happen like this, but they've also the Allegheny Police Force has also been the ones pushing the information out there to make sure everybody knows about the drive-by shooting and the ballistic damage done to the car and the empty clip. The kid had an empty clip in his pocket.
So
There were automatic weapons in the car.
But so is there proof that this kid was a shooter?
Not that he did shoot the gun, but that he was in a car. He was in a car
That was part
with
of the
automatic
gun.
weapons, and he had an empty clip in his pocket.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I mean, it's just a tough call.
Yeah, it
I
is.
mean, like you want ideally to let the justice system work, and if like you're killing somebody, like
You
bang,
gotta,
bang,
you gotta be charged, and there's
There's-
an investigation should be a hearing.
yeah, there's no
But
justice system. That
I
can
guess
work.
the question I'm going to ask, and everybody can answer this, yes or no, however they want. Did the cop do the right thing? Did he just not saying killing him was the right thing, but the cop firing his weapon, was that the right choice? Should he have let him go, or should he have fired his weapon?
Knowing that the kid was involved or potentially involved in a drive-by, I guess like was probably maybe the correct decision. But I don't know. It's hard to say, man. Like, what if would I have pulled the trigger?
Yeah, that's pretty much what you have to ask yourself: is would you have pulled the trigger? What about you?
I probably wouldn't have. But I've
Nah.
never been in that situation.
No.
Maybe one to try to convince.
I don't know if I would've- I would've-
think I fired the
I might have fired over his head.
Yeah, like a warning shot. I don't know. Like I said,
I might
I've
have
never
put off
been
a
in that.
warning shot, but I don't know if I would have
It's hard to
fired
tell.
2 times into his body. You know, I mean, again, you're shooting at a running target, so I mean, you can't really say. I guess as more details come out, we'll know more. But it is a sad situation. I just wish there was more outrage for every shooting,
Yeah, white.
not
black,
just cop on
Mexican,
cop, white on
Asian,
white, white on black,
Absolutely.
black on black. Every shooting deserves the same amount of outrage because
Yeah.
Yeah.
people don't need to keep dying.
Yeah, I don't
People
That's
don't
the-
need to
that's
keep
my
being
big thing.
shot.
I don't like hearing about these
It's
shootings.
not a complete. It's not a gun issue. It's not only a gun issue. It's not only a police issue. It's not only a community issue. It is a community issue. It's a
Or it's a-
societal issue. I think
Yeah.
when there's a shooting like this, you know, stop telling kids to put down the gun. That's not going to work. You need to go to that kid and say, why do you have a gun? The kid's going to tell you, to protect myself because this is a dangerous neighborhood or I feel threatened. Okay, why do you feel threatened? This is why I feel threatened. What can we do to fix that? Work with me to fix that. They're trying that in Chicago. It's working in some areas. It's not going to work everywhere because there's always going to be violent pockets of gangs. There's always going to be people who feel the need to protect their ego and their pride and carry a gun because they want to be the big man on the block. There's always going to be bad apples. There's always going to be bad people. There's going to be good people. The good people will always outweigh the bad. It doesn't matter. That's the way every society
I believe
works.
in that.
It just depends on whether or not you let the bad people rule the roost. 90% of the German people, the peaceful majority was irrelevant. There's this woman who does this speech. The peaceful majority was irrelevant during Nazi Germany. The peaceful majority was irrelevant when Russia killed 21 million people. The peaceful majority was irrelevant when China killed 30 million people. And right now, the peaceful majority is irrelevant as we keep killing, as Americans are killing more and more Americans. The peaceful majority needs to stop being irrelevant and start actually doing something besides arguing about the semantics and about the facade of what's going on,
Right.
and just get down to the core issue and ask these people who are carrying guns and are doing these things, why? Why do you feel the way you do? What can I do to help you? I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to call you an animal. I'm not going to say you're a criminal. I'm going to treat you like a human being and say, why are you doing this? How can I help you? Can we fix it?
I mean,
That's the only way you're ever going to get down to the bottom of it, because you can't fix a problem when you don't know what it is.
yeah, that's pretty heavy shit. I mean, you can't have right wing, left wing battles, arguments all the time about whether or not to take or keep guns, and people arguing would really should be doing something about it. To be
You should don't get mad at the NRA. That's another distraction. Don't get mad at the left because they want to ban guns. That's a distraction.
Guns
Get
don't
mad.
shoot people. People shoot people.
That's another true
Drugs
thing.
don't
Yeah.
kill people. People kill themselves.
Yeah. The drug thing's stupid. All drugs should be legal. Drugs don't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
Drugs hurt people when they're illegal.
I believe that.
Drugs hurt people when they're illegal because there's cartels, there's gangs, there's people who have to do illegal things to get the drugs or to sell the drugs. People are always going to do drugs.
Yeah.
People are going to want to do drugs for the rest of society until the world blows up because the
I agree. All drugs should be illegal.
You don't have to
legal.
Yeah.
You don't have to wear a helmet when you ride a motorcycle.
Portugal,
smoke a joint.
exactly.
You know, like,
Portugal decriminalized all drugs, right? All of them.
right?
They saw AIDS go down 30%. They saw overdoses go down 50%. They saw usage go down 20%.
The prison system, like the jails are going to be less.
They saw their arrest numbers go way down, and their treatment center numbers go up.
Most of the time,
More people
do
saw
drugs. They do drugs to be a rebel. Like, oh, everyone else, I want to be a rebel. I'm going to do some drugs. But if drugs are all legal, then I want to be a rebel. I'm not going to do some drugs. You know what I mean? Like some reverse psychology stuff.
A lot of people do drugs also because they're not educated about them. The drugs that I've tried in my life were because I wanted to know about them. If they would have brought in heroin in school, or if they bring those drugs in and show this is what it looks like, here's a junkie to come speak to you. Don't be afraid.
Right.
We're not going to scare you away because that doesn't work, obviously. We're going to show you this is the reality. This is what it does. This is what it looks like. This is what goes into it. Here's all the ingredients. This is what you're putting into your body.
Yeah,
this is why you shouldn't do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, instead of saying just say no, we're not going to show it to you. It's hidden down here. Hey, I got something really bad down here. Don't look at it.
You know what I mean?
This is really bad. You don't want to look at it.
Yeah.
The education
I'm telling you, don't want to see what I have down here. People want to see what's down here. You know
absolutely.
What I mean? When you have something bad down here, they want to see it. So I think we need to approach it entirely differently. Yeah, and I think what's crazy, here's another crazy statement that nobody's going to agree with me on. I think Trump is the guy to do it.
Yeah, he's ballsy enough.
I want him to do it.
He would be the only dude ballsy enough, but he's also if
legalize them all.
The right people could influence him because he believes what the right people tell him.
Because as of now, he wants to
give
the death penalty to drug traffickers.
Well, he also has said he wants to legalize at the federal level.
You gotta understand, marijuana. It's like a domino effect, dude. You legalize all them drugs, well, oh shit, I can't fucking arrest these people for stupid shit. Like,
I gotta start.
What do I do? You know what do I do?
They start arresting the people for crimes that do matter.
Violent crimes.
Yeah. Violent crimes.
Oh, that's
and white collar crimes. You know, all these people out here are rigging our financial system. The bankers that should have went to jail in 2008. You know, well, our prisons are full. We got gangbangers and murderers and all this stuff and marijuana.
Yeah, you got 20-year-old kids that got caught on a dime bag. You know,
exactly. It doesn't need to be like that. So I think I don't know. I think when it comes to drugs and things like that, I think it all ties into the bigger problem that we need to just continue to evolve. We need to continue to evolve as a society because I think humans are starting to catch up. This next generation of kids is crazy. I work with this kid. He said, "This is what's happening." I said, "What's the thing now?" Because when I remember a few years ago, it was pills. What's the thing in school? He said, "Juuling."
What the hell is
that?
Vaping. Not weed or nothing. Juuling. Juuls is a brand of vape. Nicotine. Juuling is the thing in school right now. For 16-year-olds, just vaping.
That sounds like a weird sex act.
But that's super
important. That wouldn't be existent if everything was just on the table, you know?
Yeah, but juuling is just nicotine, and it's just it's what I'm doing right here. Vaping. So it's in the right direction.
No one would fuck with that if you had everything on the table. Oh shit! Right. Well, I'm not gonna juul. You know, I'm not juuling today because I can do this, and that.
Well, here's what I'm saying. I think the reason they're juuling is because there's more information out there, and they know about drugs, and they know all this stuff. So they either say, you know what, I want to be rebellious, but I don't want to kill myself. So I'm just going to vape something that's 95% healthier than cigarettes because I don't want to smoke cigarettes either because they kill you. So I think kids are finally starting to choose better because kids are always going to party. They're always going to do what they want. They're always going to experiment. But I think they're finally starting to see, like, I don't need to fucking be a pothead. I don't need to do pills. I don't need to do that stuff. I'm just going to be a rebel by, you know, vaping and nicotine products.
Hitting this jewel.
But I think the next thing's going to be, you know, there's not going to be a thing. Because if vaping, a seriously, you know, an inconsequential, really minor thing is what the kids are doing these days, the next thing is going to be even. It's going to keep getting smaller and smaller until
Exactly.
the kids finally have
Yeah.
enough information
I believe
to
that.
where they're not. You know what? I don't want to put this into my body. And I think they'll finally. They're really going to be the future because kids today, for as entitled as they can be, they're also the one generation that has the most information.
There's
because
so much information.
the kid, not the kids like
Give
I'm
it all
talking
to 'em.
younger than younger
Give
than
it all
18,
to 'em.
younger than 18 right now. They're the ones who are finally seeing. Okay, the people who are 18 and older,
It's not
between
your
18 and
choice to decide
25.
what they do. Give
Exactly.
it all to them.
And I see the more we give to them, the more they're deciding not to do the bad stuff. They're deciding to do
If they
something.
got that choice.
Give them the choice. I think that's what it's all about. Chad Switzer says, "Look how bad crank is around this area, dude. Everyone knows what's in it. Good people are losing their kids, jobs, everything's still known."
Chad knows what's up, man.
Yeah, meth right now is really bad for people in this area. But I will say this: the kids are choosing to do it. I think we had our chance. We fucked up. The kids actually,
Obviously.
because of us, these kids who are looking at the generation before them are saying like, "Oh wow," like it's their parents that are fucking up.
Yeah.
So they're saying, "Okay, now I have this information. I'm gonna do better."
I'm gonna control you.
Yeah, I think I don't even think it's about that. I think it's because there's less control because the internet. The internet opened up a lot for these kids. They can, it's a
Dark
dangerous
web.
it's the key to the next age, the Renaissance. The next Renaissance will happen online.
Oh, that dude.
Look
online
what we're
is
doing
everything.
right now. TV and
I think
radio
you're
will
right.
become
I
obsolete
think you're
because of podcasts. Podcasts, like I was telling you, they're unfiltered. Their commercials can
Yeah,
be really
it's
simple.
real though.
It's
It's
real.
something that people can believe.
So I think the
in
next
this day and age.
Renaissance, the next Renaissance is going to happen whenever 300 million situations like this happen.
I mean,
There's going to be 300 million repetitions of this exact kind of thing happening, and it's going to switch into our favor, and the people will have the power. Elections will be online.
It's gotta be.
There's not going to be a king or a president. It's going to be a group of people that run the country. It's not going to be this
It already
oligarch, ridiculous centrifuge that constantly sucks power to the middle and takes it away from us. I think the more the internet expands and grows, we will have a renaissance that leads to a final democratic society that is just a very social and communal place.
Well, when was the first time like the internet became a part of your everyday life? Like at what age?
Like internet, that would be like high school.
AOL?
Right.
Shit.
Now kids are like
Yeah,
getting
AOL,
this,
instant messenger.
Their kids are getting stuff at like
MySpace,
age
yeah.
5, 6. They're carrying around.
I was
tablets.
15.
Yeah, 15,
16,
bro.
yeah,
15.
15, 16.
They're getting exposed to this 10 years prior. I mean,
3-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly, man. So
Well,
it's, everything's happening on.
Nice.
So without a doubt, the next revolution.
They get their cartoons from YouTube.
Exactly. Everything's streamed or
I don't
online.
even want to know.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts, man. Everything's streamed, everything's online. There's podcasts for kids about toys. There's a 9-year-old who makes thousands of dollars every year just reviewing toys for other kids. So like I review vapes online
That kid's
sometimes, right?
He
This
makes more
kid,
than I ever
he's a
will.
fucking genius. He said, "You know what? I get these toys. I'm going to review them." So toy companies started selling because he's super cute. He's a little kid.
Right.
Now he's like 11, but he still reviews shit. There's a 16-year-old kid who sells sneakers to Kanye West, Drake. He finds sneakers online, rare ones,
Yeah.
and then sells them for a huge markup and makes like $200,000 a year just fucking reselling sneakers
Jesus.
to fucking rich rappers.
Yeah.
And the kid's 16 or 17 now. His name's Ben. He's a fucking sensation.
Go
So like
Ben,
these
go.
kids are figuring it out. They know how to go viral. They know
are, though.
you
They're
know,
getting smarter.
they're getting smarter, and I feel like they're gonna crack the code to the next renaissance, and we might be able to reap the benefits.
Ride the coattails of these
Oh,
genius kids.
Yeah.
I'm totally for that because if it happens, then I'm gonna build my my fire pits and enjoy myself, and then just have a nice little cabin in the woods.
There you go. You and Wolf
Peace
Reddington
out.
out there catching catfish.
I'm gonna build a statue
Fuck
of
yeah.
Richard Nixon, put it in my front yard to scare away the hippies, and
We'll
that will
pick
be
mushrooms
Yeah,
together.
chicken in the woods, bro.
I've always wanted a scarecrow that looks like
Or
Richard
chicken in
Nixon.
the woods and head in the woods are those two different things?
Yes.
So get them both then. We'll have
Yeah,
full,
but
like
you
a
won't
2-course
have
meal,
those.
man. That's better. So like a
The chicken in the woods is easier.
Alright.
Look how bad.
I
That's
was
because they
golfing.
have people
I
like
was
you
golfing last week.
in that you and I that have been through
That's
them.
awesome, dude.
So Chad Schweitzer
Hook it
says
up.
the reason these kids are finally picking right is because if people like You and I that have been through the bullshit, that are willing to tell these young kids how awful shit is and what can happen to them. Our generation is a stepping stone or guinea pigs to help the next ones come up. I will say that our parents were the ones that say, no, I never did that stuff, you don't want to try it. And then you're older, they finally tell you, like, yeah, I tried this or I did this. My mom was a, was a drug smuggler.
Hell yeah.
She told me all this stuff at a young age, so like I knew about it. I still made some mistakes, but I knew them. I made the mistakes rationally, and I selected them. I put myself through it. But I think because we are really open, because social media forces us to be open about this information, it's forcing kids to make more informed decisions. And on that, guys, I believe. That is it for the Not So Black podcast. This is episode 9. Erica Renee, she just joined us and we are ending the episode. So it was an hour and so many minutes.
Rewind.
We will, rewind please. We're about to end. Go back, watch from the beginning. It is absolutely amazing, super exquisite, beautiful, magnificent, delicious, and enjoyable. If you guys have any questions or comments, please send them to us or comment on the video. We will get back to you. Again, for the Not So Black podcast, this is Joshua David Whitty, Matt Hadden, Wolf Reddington, and Stephen Bouse signing off. So thank you so much to all of our video and audio listeners.
And enjoyable.